On September 19th of this year, I made a video to my Congresswoman Maxine Dexter about Gaza. I had just left a town hall here in Portland, Oregon, where activists stood up and asked her, when are you going to start calling what is happening to Palestinians in Gaza a genocide? This was right after the UN came out and said that it met the criteria. And Maxine has been really slow to take up a position that I would prefer she take up around Gaza. A lot of her town halls have had hecklers, have had people who've been pushing her really hard to be more forceful, to be clearer about how we have got to stop our contribution to the genocide in Gaza. And more than that, we must speak out against it. And she has said, right, human rights violations. She's been very clear from the beginning that we should not be funding arms to Israel because the Leahy law is being violated, where if a country is committing human rights abuses, then we can't send arms to them. But still, Democrats and Republicans in Congress have been doing that, both under Joe Biden and under Donald Trump. And so she's been very clear about that, but she's just been a little bit timid in some of her other language. And this is Portland, right? People have real big opinions about Gaza. And I know there's a lot of people who have the misconception that Maxine took money from AIPAC in the primary. And again, transparency's sake here, I didn't vote for Maxine in the primary. I voted for Sushila Jayapal. She was my county commissioner. I actually was really quite pleased with her performance, her advocacy for the county. And her sister is Pramila Jayapal, who is a congresswoman in Washington state. And one of the big reasons that I voted for Sushila is that she wouldn't take AIPAC money and that she spoke out against AIPAC. She was therefore targeted by AIPAC, who ran ads on Maxine's behalf, even though Maxine told us in a town hall a while back that she asked them not to. She asked them not to get involved. She has advocated to get dark money out of our politics. She has advocated to overturn Citizens United. But still, people have the misperception that she willingly accepted that money. Part of the problem in our politics is that an organization can take out an ad on your behalf and you can't be like, I don't want you to do that. Which is why we need reforms. We should not be having foreign money, corporate money, special interest money, dark money in our politics. Oregonians in District 3 should have been deciding who our congresswoman was without AIPAC funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars into the race. So Maxine won the primary and Sushila did not. And I did vote for Maxine in the general election. And I have been fairly pleased with her. She's become much more outspoken, much more bold. I have watched her move in the right direction consistently through the year. I thought she was very timid at the beginning. She was also a brand new freshman congresswoman. One of the reasons I was excited to vote for her in the general election is that she has had a really strong position on environmental issues. And I felt like we aligned really well there. And I know she's been really frustrated, and I've been so frustrated that all of the environmental causes that she was going to advocate for on behalf of everybody in America and on behalf of Portlanders is all kind of on a shelf because she's now on this subcommittee where they are talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX doing space mining for rare minerals. It's just her trying to stop the grift, right? Yeah. But anyway, she's been pushed really hard on Gaza. And, I think she's not been receptive to hecklers who stand up and disrupt her town halls. But that's not because she hasn't wanted to hear her constituents on this issue. She just wants everybody to respect each other's time. And when somebody else has pulled a ticket and it's their turn to ask a question, we all have this agreement in our town halls in Oregon that you respect that person and you let them speak. So when hecklers jump in and they just want to shout down Maxine and they don't want to have a conversation, I've been really frustrated with that because I don't feel like those folks have helped move the needle on Maxine's opinion at all. I feel like they have spoken over other constituents whose concerns are really valid. At times they've spoken over veterans in town halls, spoken over immigrants in town halls, and I felt like it's been really performative and not helpful. But I have seen people who pull tickets and will challenge Maxine at a town hall directly. They will use that space and that time that they've been given to speak really frankly with her. And I have listened to her in those interactions, and she's responded. I do feel that Maxine wants to represent her constituents. And I do feel like she has been listening. And because we have been so outspoken on the issue of Gaza and have pushed her really hard, and because she has had a willingness to listen, unlike the Republicans and a number of corporate Democrats, Maxine believes in representative democracy. I really believe that. it is the job of our representatives to represent our best interests and our opinions and our needs in Congress. And so when her constituents have been coming to her time and time again saying, we need you to take a stronger position on this. And then the UN came out and said, hey, yeah, all of the criteria are met for this to be called a genocide. I'm so pleased. Sorry, it took me 5 minutes of setup to get to this, y'all. It's late and I am nothing if not verbose. Earlier today, Maxine and a number of other members of Congress put forward House Resolution 876. This resolution is authored by Rashida Tlaib, and co-sponsors include Maxine Dexter and several other members of the Progressive Caucus, including Maxwell Frost, Robert Garcia, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley. But to see Maxine's name co-sponsoring this resolution, I want to read the beginning of the resolution to you. This to me, I posted on Blue Sky this morning. I was like, everybody go call her, email her, and say thank you. Thank you for listening to your constituents. Because this House Resolution 876 says, recognizing the genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza, whereas the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, the Genocide Convention, was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on December 9th, 1948. Whereas the United States played a key role in drafting the Genocide Convention, ratified that convention on November 5th, 1988, and remains a party to that convention. Whereas under the Genocide Convention, the crime of genocide is committed when one or more categories of underlying acts are committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group, such as, namely, killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction, in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group or forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Whereas the Genocide Convention obligates all state parties, including the United States, to prevent and punish the crime of genocide. And then it goes on to list a whole lot of data from organizations, evidence from journalists that conclusively show that Israel is committing a genocide. The sponsors of this bill, including Maxine Dexter, then go on resolved that it is the sense of the House of Representatives that it is the policy of the United States to prevent and punish the crime of genocide wherever it occurs, and to officially recognize that the state of Israel has committed the crime of genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza, and respect the United States' binding legal obligations as a party of the Genocide Convention and under customary international law to prevent and punish the crime of genocide in Gaza, employing all means reasonably available. And then it goes on to say, ceasing transfer of arms to Israel, ensuring that the state of Israel implement all measures that are laid out by the International Court of Justice, and ensuring that individuals and corporations in the U.S. and in our jurisdiction are not involved in the commission of genocide, in aiding and assisting the commission of genocide, or incitement to commit genocide. And then investigating and prosecuting those who may be implicated in these crimes under international law. The resolution goes on to lay out more specifications. I understand that Republicans in the House are not going to pass this, but this is a challenge to everybody. We have seen some Republicans, both elected officials, but also just in the MAGA sphere, who are speaking out much more strongly against Israel. And there are far too many Democrats that are not willing to take a stand on this because they take money from AIPAC. And I want to commend my congresswoman for doing the right thing here. Everybody who co-sponsored this, but particularly you, Maxine, as my representative, as somebody who has been pushed hard by your constituents, and you have chosen to listen to us. You have been open to having those conversations and receiving new information and changing your mind or evolving your position on the issue. Thank you. Thank you for being willing to do this. I understand that it comes with a political cost. It is the moral and just thing to do, and I really appreciate you being willing to co-sponsor this resolution.